The world is chaotic. People panic. Decisions crumble. But you don't have to. Learn the mental framework that keeps you steady, sharp, and in control when everything around you is falling apart. Because calm isn't a feeling, it's a skill, and you can master it. Chapter 1. Own your reaction, command your response. You have to understand something right from the start. Your reactions are costing you power. Every emotional outburst, every impulsive decision, every moment you let your nervous system drag you into chaos. Those reactions are draining your clarity, your stability, and your authority. And the worst part? Most people don't even know it's happening. They think reacting is normal. They think reacting is human. They think reacting is just who they are. But you're not here to stay who you are. You're here to become who you're capable of being. So let's get this straight. Reacting is automatic. Responding is intentional. One is primitive. The other is powerful. One is pure emotion. The other is pure clarity. That's the difference. And once you truly understand it, everything in your life changes. Because in every storm, internal or external, you have the same choice. Will you react or will you respond? Let's break this down. Reactions are fast. Responses are controlled. When something triggers you, an insult, a deadline, a crisis, a failure, your brain rushes to protect you. It wants to fire back. It wants to panic. It wants to escape. That's survival mode, not success mode. Reaction is the mind saying, do something now. Say something now. Fix it now. But urgency destroys clarity. Rushing destroys wisdom. Instinct destroys intention. Responding is different. Responding is quiet. Responding is slow. Responding is deliberate. Responding is you taking back the wheel instead of letting stress drive your life off the road. Slow your mind, sharpen your focus. That's the key. Imagine you're in an ER room. A patient is crashing. Machines are beeping. Family members are crying. Time is running out. What do you think a trained emergency surgeon does? Do they scream? Do they freeze? Do they panic? Do they react emotionally? No, they do the opposite. They breathe. They slow down. They lock into clarity. Their body might be under pressure, but their mind is not. Their mind is stable. Their mind is disciplined. Their mind is trained for the storm. They don't react. They respond. That pause, those 2 or 3 seconds of intentional calm, that's what saves lives. That's what gives them the edge in chaos. And if they can learn that skill under life or death pressure, you can learn it in your daily life. Think about firefighters. Everyone else runs away from the fire. They run toward it. Not because they're fearless. Nobody is truly fearless. But because they've trained themselves to stay calm in situations where chaos wants to take over. When flames rise, when smoke blinds, when the heat becomes unbearable, they don't rush blindly. They don't act emotionally. They don't let panic make decisions for them. They step in with strategy. They step in with order. They step in with presence. Because they understand something most people don't. A single moment of clarity in chaos is worth more than 1,000 emotional reactions. Slow your mind. Sharpen your focus. You need to train that same skill in your own life. Maybe you're not in an ER room. Maybe you're not walking into a burning building. But you face different storms. A boss demanding answers. A partner raising their voice. A bill you weren't expecting. A mistake that embarrasses you. A moment where everything suddenly feels like too much. In those moments, your primitive mind wants to react. It wants to defend. It wants to lash out. It wants to collapse. But you have a choice. And that's the key. You have a choice. You can pause. You can breathe. You can create space between the event and your response. That space is where your power lives. That space is where your intelligence works. That space is where your calm is created. Stop reacting. Start responding. Here's the system used by high-pressure professionals. Learn it. Use it. Master it. Step 1. Pause the moment your emotions spike. Not 5 seconds later. Not after you've already said something you regret. Immediately. The pause is your reset button. Without it, you're just a slave to whatever feeling hits you first. Step 2. Take a slow breath. 1 breath. That's all. Not meditation. Not a ritual. Just one slow inhale, one slow exhale. Why? Because your breath is the steering wheel of your nervous system. If your breath is out of control, you're out of control. If your breath is steady, your mind becomes steady. Step 3. Ask one question. What is the smartest move right now? Not the fastest move. Not the loudest move. Not the emotional move. The smartest move. That one question shifts you from reaction to strategy. And strategy is what wins storms. Slow your mind. Sharpen your focus. Responding gives you authority. Reacting gives you consequences. Every argument you regret? Reaction. Every message you wish you hadn't sent? Reaction. Every decision you rushed into? Reaction. But every moment you feel proud of? Every achievement you earned with clarity? Every conflict you handled like a leader? Those didn't come from reaction. They came from responding. You don't need their permission to slow down. You don't need their approval to stay calm. You don't need their understanding to protect your peace. It's not about emotion. It's about discipline. You become powerful the moment you stop letting the world control your internal state. When the world gets loud, stay quiet. When things move fast, slow your mind. When others panic, stay grounded. When everything feels urgent, focus on what matters. This is how you build unshakable presence. This is how you build unshakable focus. This is how you become the calm in every storm. And understand this, people will trust you more when you respond instead of react. People will respect you more when you stay composed. People will look to you when things fall apart. Because the world doesn't follow the loudest person. It follows the calmest one. So here's your challenge for today. Every time you feel yourself reacting, stop. Pause. Breathe. Ask the question. Every emotional impulse is a test. Every trigger is a training session. Every storm is an opportunity to build the calm that others wish they had. Slow your mind. Sharpen your focus. This is how you reclaim control. You just learned the power of choosing calm over chaos. You learned how to stop reacting and start responding. Now it's time to look deeper, into the inner world that shapes every action you take. You mastered the pause. Now let's master the climate inside you. Chapter 2. Control your inner climate before the outer world controls you. There is a world inside you that nobody else sees. A world made of thoughts, beliefs, expectations, and automatic patterns. A world that becomes the climate you live in every single day. Some people walk around with thunderstorms inside them. Others carry fog. Others live in constant wind and pressure. And a rare few, very few, move through life with clear skies, steady ground, and mental stillness. Here's the truth most people never learn. Your inner climate affects your performance far more than anything happening around you. And the people who win in high-pressure environments aren't the ones with the least problems. They're the ones with the most control over their internal weather. That's the core of this chapter. Control your inner climate or the outer world will control you. Say it again. Stabilize inside, dominate outside. Your thoughts create the conditions you operate from. Think of your mind as an internal atmosphere. Your thoughts create the weather. Your habits determine the seasons. Your emotions determine the storms. If your inner climate is chaotic, everything you do becomes harder. Every task takes longer. Every problem feels bigger. Every challenge feels personal. You trip on small obstacles. You overreact to minor frustrations. You collapse under moderate pressure. Not because the outer world is overwhelming, but because the inner world is unstable. On the other hand, when your inner climate is calm, grounded, and steady, you become unstoppable. You become unshakable. You become someone who moves with clarity even when everyone around you is drowning in noise. Stabilize inside, dominate outside. That's the key. Look at world-class athletes. People assume athletes win because they're strong, fast, or gifted. But that's not the whole story. The true difference between a good athlete and an elite one? Emotional neutrality. The ability to stay calm when the stakes skyrocket. The ability to maintain internal stillness while the crowd screams, the clock ticks, and the pressure spikes. In the final seconds of a game, your body is exhausted, your adrenaline is pumping, your nerves are firing, and your instincts scream at you to rush. But the top athletes don't rush. They don't panic. They don't let adrenaline take the wheel. They switch into neutrality. They become centered. They return to inner stillness. Because they know the truth. You can't perform at your highest level when your mind is in chaos. They stabilize inside, and then they dominate outside. We've all heard the stories. The basketball player hitting a game-winning shot with millions watching. The soccer player scoring under crushing pressure. The tennis player executing the perfect serve while the entire stadium holds its breath. These moments aren't about physical skill. They're about inner climate control. If they let adrenaline lead, they lose. If they let fear lead, they lose. If they let the moment overwhelm them, they lose. They choose mental neutrality instead. They choose internal consistency. They choose steady inner weather. And so must you. Your inner weather determines your outer results. Here's the part people avoid. Most of your stress isn't caused by the situation. It's caused by your interpretation of the situation. Two people can face the same problem. One breaks. One rises. What? Not because of the problem. Because of the climate inside them. If your inner weather is turbulent, even small challenges feel catastrophic. Even minor criticism feels painful. Even routine change feels threatening. But if your inner weather is calm, chaos doesn't scare you. Pressure doesn't break you. Uncertainty doesn't pull you off center. Your mind becomes your anchor. Your thoughts become your shelter. Your discipline becomes your stability. Say it again. Stabilize inside, dominate outside. You can't control the storm, but you can control the shelter. Here's the mistake people make. They try to control the world. They try to fix every external problem first. They try to change other people, change circumstances, change outcomes. But that's backwards. Trying to fix the outer world without fixing your inner world is like trying to stop the rain by yelling at the clouds. It doesn't work. It never works. Will never work. The real strategy, the one high performers use, is simple. Build a stronger interior first. You can't stop the storm, but you can strengthen the roof. You can reinforce the walls. You can become the calm in the center of the cyclone. You don't need their permission. You don't need external approval. You don't need the world to cooperate. It's not about what's happening around you. It's about what's happening inside you. Stabilize inside, dominate outside. Here's how you build stable inner weather. Step 1. Label the internal storm. Is it fear? Is it insecurity? Is it tension? Is it anticipation? Labeling emotion gives you control over it. Unnamed emotions become storms. Named emotions become signals. Step 2. Challenge the narrative. What story are you telling yourself? Something is going wrong. Something is about to fall apart. I'm not ready. I'm behind. Most of these thoughts aren't reality, they're weather patterns. Temporary. Shifting. Influenced by mood, not truth. Step 3. Create neutrality. Tell yourself, this is just a moment. This feeling will pass. I choose calm. I choose clarity. Neutrality isn't pretending everything is perfect. Neutrality is refusing to let emotion distort your vision. Step 4. Lock into purpose. When your mind returns to purpose, it returns to stability. Purpose pierces fog. Purpose grounds emotion. Purpose restores direction. Purpose is the internal sun, always there even when clouds cover it. Your identity comes from your climate, not your circumstances. People think they need perfect conditions to be calm. But calm isn't a condition. Calm is a skill. Calm is a choice. Calm is a mindset. And the more you practice it, the more automatic it becomes. When problems rise, you won't panic. When stress hits, you won't collapse. When life shifts, you won't lose your center. Because you've trained the inner climate. You've built the internal stability. Stabilize inside, dominate outside. That is your mantra for this chapter. The world will always have storms. Your mind shouldn't, asterisk. You can't trust the world to be calm. You can't trust people to be consistent. You can't trust circumstances to be stable. But you can trust your training. You can trust your discipline. You can trust your inner climate, if you refine it. This is how you become reliable. This is how you become solid. This is how you become someone others depend on. The storm doesn't define you. Your response to the storm does. Your inner climate does. You've learned how to build the inner environment that drives your external power. You've learned how athletes rise under pressure and how stability begins within. Now you need to understand what truly destroys your clarity and what enhances it. You stabilize the inside. Now let's talk about the force that will make or break you. Chapter 3. Pressure is not your enemy. Panic is. Pressure is not the problem. Pressure has never been the problem. Pressure is neutral, completely neutral. What turns pressure into suffering is panic. What turns pressure into chaos is panic. What turns pressure into failure is panic. Say it clearly, pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. Most people confuse the two. They feel pressure rising and assume something is wrong. They feel stress building and assume they're failing. They feel tension in their body and assume they're in danger. But they're not. They're just experiencing the natural sensation of being human in a high-stakes moment. There is nothing wrong with pressure. Pressure sharpens you. Pressure focuses you. Pressure wakes up the parts of your brain that sleep during comfort. It's panic that destroys you. It's panic that blinds you. It's panic that hijacks your intelligence. Pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. Your brain was built for pressure, but not for panic. Let's break it down simply at a level anyone can understand. Inside your brain are two forces always fighting for control. Your rational mind, the part that plans, thinks, analyzes, and stays calm. And your survival mind, the part that reacts instantly and emotionally. Pressure activates the rational mind. It makes you alert. It sharpens your senses. It increases focus. Panic activates the survival mind. It shuts off logic. It shuts off clarity. It shuts off strategic thinking. That's the key difference. Pressure turns you on. Panic turns you off. Pressure expands your capacity. Panic collapses your capacity. Pressure helps you rise. Panic guarantees you fall. Say it again, pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. Look at pilots. They face pressure every day. Commercial pilots spend thousands of hours training not just to fly, but to stay calm. Their training is built on one truth: alarms don't kill. Panic kills. When something goes wrong mid-flight, a warning light flashes, an alarm sounds, a system fails, they are trained to do the opposite of what panic wants them to do. They don't start yelling. They don't start guessing. They don't slam random buttons. They slow down. Their breathing slows. Their mind clears. They go straight to checklists, procedures, and measured decisions. This behavior isn't natural, it's trained. Because in aviation, reacting emotionally is deadly. But responding logically saves lives. Pressure? That's normal. Panic? That's the enemy. Always. Pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. Pressure helps you perform at a higher level. Think of the last time you felt pressure. Real pressure. A deadline you couldn't miss. A conversation that mattered. A moment where you had something to prove. A situation where failure wasn't an option. What happened inside you? Your heart beat faster. Your senses sharpened. Your mind narrowed its focus. Your energy spiked. That wasn't weakness. That wasn't anxiety. That was your system preparing for performance. That was your brain saying, pay attention. This matters. Show up fully. Pressure is the signal that something meaningful is happening. Pressure is a sign that you're growing. Pressure is proof that you are awake, alive, and capable. Pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. Panic turns a simple problem into a disaster. Now think of a moment where you panicked. Your mind raced. Your body tensed. You couldn't think straight. You said or did something you regretted. And afterward, you realized the situation wasn't nearly as bad as your panic made it seem. That's what panic does. It distorts reality. It amplifies threats. It shuts down intelligence. Pressure whispers, focus. Panic screams, run. Pressure says, solve this. Panic says, everything is falling apart. Pressure gives you options. Panic removes them. Pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. You must train your mind to work under pressure. This is where discipline comes in. You can't wait for pressure to disappear. You can't hope for life to stop challenging you. You can't avoid high-stakes moments. They're part of the game. They're part of growth. They're part of every meaningful life. So the goal is not to eliminate pressure. The goal is to eliminate panic. You train for pressure so you can stay rational. You train for pressure so you can stay calm. You train for pressure so you can stay in control. You don't need their permission. You don't need ideal conditions. You don't need comfort to perform. It's not about avoiding pressure. It's about building discipline. Pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. Here's how to master pressure before it masters you. Step 1. Expect pressure. Always. Don't fear it. Don't avoid it. Expect it. Invite it. Use it. When pressure shows up, say to yourself, this is normal. This is useful. I'm built for this. Step 2. Slow the physical body. Panic lives in the body before it lives in the mind. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Slow your breath. Your body sends a signal to your brain. We are safe. Think clearly. Step 3. Break the moment into small decisions. Panic wants you to think in worst-case scenarios. Pressure wants you to think step by step. Ask, what's my next action? Not 10 actions later. The next one. Step 4. Return to procedure, not emotion. Pilots follow checklists. Air doctors follow protocols. Athletes follow routines. Emotion is unreliable. Procedure is dependable. When chaos hits, you need a plan, not panic. Pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who panics. Not the loudest person. Not the strongest person. Not the angriest or the fastest. The most dangerous person is the one who loses control. Panic creates mistakes. Panic creates confusion. Panic creates chaos. But the most powerful person in the room? The one who stays calm while everyone else breaks. The one who thinks when others scream. The one who slows down when others rush. Calm is a competitive advantage. Composure is a weapon. Clarity is a superpower. Pressure is fuel. Panic is poison. You are stronger than you think under pressure. You've survived every difficult moment you've ever faced. You've handled more than you give yourself credit for. You've endured things that once felt impossible. Pressure didn't break you. Panic might have, but pressure didn't. Now you're learning to separate the two. Now you're learning the truth. Pressure elevates performance. Panic destroys it. And the person who understands this becomes unstoppable. You've learned to stop fearing pressure and start fearing the real enemy, panic. You've learned how high performers stay calm when alarms go off and crisis hits. Now you must master the pause that changes everything. You mastered the storm. Now master the moment. Chapter 4. Master the pause that changes everything. There is a moment, small, invisible, and always available, that separates the people who break under pressure from the people who rise inside it. That moment is the pause. Not a long meditation. Not a dramatic silence. Just a controlled interruption of your automatic mind. Most people have never learned to use it. They react first. They think later. And they regret forever. But you're not most people. You're here to become calm in every storm. And to do that, you must master the one tool that changes everything. The 3-second mind reset. This chapter is where you learn the skill that elite performers use when everything is on the line. A skill that stops emotional chaos from taking over your decisions. A skill that gives you your mind back. Because when pressure hits, you don't need more speed. You need more control. And control begins with the pause. Pause, then power. That's the phrase you will repeat in your head again and again. Because it works. The 3 seconds most people never use. Everyone knows how to rush. Everyone knows how to panic. Everyone knows how to speak too fast, reply too soon, or defend themselves too aggressively. But very few people know how to pause. Why? Because pausing feels unnatural when emotion is high. Your brain wants to protect you. Your ego wants to prove something. Your fear wants to run. Your anger wants to react. But none of those impulses help you think clearly. None of them lead to better decisions. None of them move you toward mastery. That's why high-level performers, negotiators, surgeons, pilots, special operations teams, train the pause into their nervous system. They practice it until it becomes automatic. Because they know the truth. If you don't control your first 3 seconds, your first 3 seconds will control you. And the key to this chapter is simple. You have the same 3 seconds. You just haven't been using them yet. Why the pause works. The neuroscience behind control. Your brain has two primary systems fighting for control in high-stress moments. One is fast, emotional, and reactive. The other is slower, logical, and strategic. When something triggers you, a comment, an accusation, a mistake, a threat, the fast system fires first. It wants you to move immediately. It wants you to feel immediately. It wants you to react immediately. But the strategic system needs time. It needs a moment of breath, a moment of stillness, a moment where you interrupt the emotional surge long enough for clarity to re-enter the room. That interruption, that pause, is the doorway. It stops panic from hijacking your mind. It gives strategy time to arrive. It gives intention space to speak. This is why elite negotiators pause before responding to inflammatory statements. They know that if they react with emotion, they lose the room. They lose leverage. They lose influence. The pause is not weakness. The pause is power. Pause, then power. Remember it. Use it. Live it. The 3-second mind reset. Here is the method. Simple. Sure. Reliable. A skill you will carry for the rest of your life. Step 1. Inhale for 1 second, a short, conscious inhale. Not deep. Not dramatic. Just intentional. This signals your nervous system to disrupt the emotional spike. Step 2. Hold for 1 second. This is the reset. This micro-hold interrupts the chain reaction of automatic behavior. It forces the brain to shift from reflex to awareness. Step 3. Exhale for 1 second. This releases the immediate tension and clears your decision-making pathway. After this exhale, you are no longer reacting. You are choosing. 3 seconds. That's it. And it works. It works in arguments. It works in crisis. It works in negotiations. It works when someone disrespects you. It works when you feel the urge to panic, defend, explain, or overreact. Every time you feel the emotional wave building, do this. Pause, then power. Say it internally. Anchor it. Make it your mental command. Because those 3 seconds don't just calm your body, they restore your authority. The negotiator advantage. Picture a high-stakes negotiator facing someone who is intentionally provoking them. Maybe the other party raises their voice. Maybe they throw out insults. Maybe they try to trigger a reaction. A rookie reacts. They defend themselves. They explain too much. They get dragged into emotional combat. A professional pauses. They breathe. They reset. Then they respond with clarity. That pause breaks the opponent's rhythm. It shows strength. It communicates confidence. It sends a message: you don't control my state. I control my state. This is how calm people take control of rooms without raising their voice. It's how CEOs lead through crisis. It's how athletes regain control during a bad play. They don't rush. They don't panic. They pause and then they apply power. What you must start doing today. From this chapter forward, you will train this skill every time pressure touches you. You will use the pause when you feel insulted. You will use the pause when you feel overwhelmed. You will use the pause when you feel fear rising in your chest. You have a choice. You always have a choice. You can let emotion run your life, or you can take back control with 3 seconds of intention. Most people let storms dictate their behavior, but you are becoming the storm's master. Pause, then power. Repeat it. Own it. Make it a reflex so strong that chaos can't touch your clarity. You just learned the moment that separates emotional chaos from strategic calm. You just learned the pause that puts your mind back in your hands. But now it's time to elevate your control even further. Because mastering the pause is step 1. Mastering your mind under rising intensity is step 2. You've learned how to stop panic. Now it's time to learn how to rise above fear, pressure, and distraction with purpose. Chapter 5. Win the battle between impulse and intention. There is a war happening inside you every single day. A quiet, relentless war. A war between who you are in your emotional moments and who you could become if you acted with intention. Most people don't even know this battle exists. They move through life driven by impulse, reacting, chasing, avoiding, defending, panicking, indulging. And then they wonder why their life feels unstable. Why their progress feels inconsistent. Why they keep repeating the same mistakes. But high performers? High performers know exactly where their power comes from. Not from talent. not from speed, not from adrenaline. Their power comes from intention, because intention gives direction. Impulse destroys it. This chapter is about training the part of you that decides, the part of you that chooses, the part of you that acts with clarity, not emotion. This chapter is about winning the battle inside your mind. And the phrase you will repeat is simple, sharp, and non-negotiable. Intention over impulse. Say it again. Intention over impulse. Because that is the difference between mastery and chaos. The hidden war you fight every day. Most people live in reaction mode. They react to stress. They react to temptation. They react to fear. They react to the feeling of the moment. Impulse is the brain's shortcut. It's fast. It's emotional. It's lazy. It wants comfort right now, even if it destroys potential later. Impulse doesn't care about your future. Impulse doesn't care about your goals. Impulse doesn't care about who you want to become. But intention does. Intention is the part of you that thinks long-term. Intention is the part of you that sees consequences. Intention is the part of you that cares about the life you're building. This is why this internal battle matters. Impulse is short-term survival. Intention is long-term power. Every time you choose one, you sacrifice the other. And most people choose impulse because impulse feels good. Impulse feels natural. Impulse feels easy. But easy doesn't build strength. Easy doesn't build mastery. Easy doesn't build a calm mind in a chaotic world. You have a choice, and you must choose intention. The investor's lesson. Calm minds win while emotional minds lose. Look at the world of investing. The greatest investors don't win because they can predict the future. They win because they refuse to be controlled by impulse when the world is panicking. When markets crash, emotional traders lose everything. They sell too fast. They sell out of fear. They sell because the feeling of the moment overwhelms their strategy. But the rational investor, the one who controls their inner climate, does not panic. They don't operate from fear. They don't dump their strategy because the world is screaming. They stay calm. They stay steady. They stick to their system. Why? Because they operate from intention, not impulse. Because they understand the truth. Short-term emotion destroys long-term value. And this applies far beyond money. It applies to your relationships, to your goals, to your habits, to your self-control, to your future. When emotion spikes, clarity collapses. And when clarity collapses, people make catastrophic decisions. Your job is to prevent that collapse. Your job is to stand where others fall. Intention over impulse. That's how you win the internal war. The anatomy of impulse. What actually happens in your mind? When you feel triggered by anger, by fear, by temptation, by frustration, your brain pushes you toward action. It wants relief. It wants release. It wants to end the discomfort as fast as possible. That's impulse. An emotional command disguised as a logical need. Impulse tells you to speak before thinking. Impulse tells you to quit before trying. Impulse tells you to eat what's easy, avoid what's difficult, attack what's uncomfortable, or run from what's uncertain. Impulse is loud. Impulse is impatient. Impulse is convincing. But intention is different. Intention isn't emotional, it's strategic. It doesn't react to the moment, it evaluates the moment. It doesn't chase comfort, it builds strength. Intention asks better questions. Intention sees further. Intention creates stability. But intention cannot speak unless you quiet the impulse first. This is why your pause matters. This is why control matters. This is why your training matters. Every time you interrupt emotion, you give intention a chance to lead. The strategy, how to win the moment every time. Here is how you defeat impulse before it derails your progress. Step 1. Recognize the surge. You'll feel it: anger, fear, temptation, urgency. When you feel that spike, identify it immediately. Say internally, "This is impulse." Naming it weakens it. Step 2. Interrupt the cycle. Use the 3-second mind reset from the previous chapter. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. This is your separator. This is where impulse loses its grip. Step 3. Ask the intention question. This one question changes everything. What does my future self need me to do right now? Not your ego. Not your fear. Not your emotions. your future self. That one question pulls you out of impulse and into purpose. Because intention thinks forward. Impulse thinks now. By asking that question, you choose the future over the moment. And that is the foundation of becoming unshakable. Intention over impulse. Say it again. Intention over impulse. What you must stop doing immediately. You must stop letting feelings dictate your direction. You must stop acting fast just because your emotions are loud. You must stop letting impulse choose for you. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. You don't need to defend yourself instantly. You don't need to prove anything. Impulse wants you to prove. Intention wants you to build. Impulse wants you to react. Intention wants you to lead. Impulse wants comfort. Intention wants mastery. You already know which one wins in the long run. Now choose it. You just learned the core battle that determines your future. Impulse versus intention. Emotion versus clarity. Short-term relief versus long-term power. You now understand how real leaders stay rational when everyone else loses control. But there's another layer you must master. Not just defeating impulse, but building a mental core so stable that chaos can't shake you. You've learned how to choose intention. Next, you'll learn how to reinforce it. Chapter 6. Become emotionally untouchable without becoming emotionless. There's a misconception that calm people feel nothing. That the only way to be unshakable is to be cold, detached, unmoved. But that's not mastery. That's numbness. And numbness is not strength, it's avoidance. True emotional power comes from this ability, feeling deeply, responding wisely. Not shutting down your emotions, not ignoring your emotions, but mastering your emotions. This chapter is about becoming emotionally untouchable, not because you're distant, but because you are centered. Not because you stop caring, but because you stop collapsing. Not because you don't feel, but because you don't get swept away. You are learning the mindset of leaders, negotiators, parents, coaches, and high-pressure performers who carry stability into every room they enter. They don't suppress emotion. They don't explode with emotion. They channel emotion. Because they understand a truth most people never learn. Your emotions are data, not commands. Data you can listen to. Data you can decode. Data you can use strategically, without letting it hijack your decisions. This is how you become emotionally untouchable while remaining fully human. Repeat the phrase again. Feel deeply, respond wisely. The difference between emotional depth and emotional chaos. You are not here to become a robot. You are here to become a master. And emotional mastery looks like this. You feel everything, but you are controlled by nothing. Most people confuse emotional depth with emotional instability. They think that feeling strongly means reacting strongly. But that's not true. Emotional chaos is when your feelings run your behavior. Emotional depth is when you understand your feelings without letting them take the wheel. Chaos is instinct. Depth is intelligence. This is why emotionally intelligent leaders can stay calm in conflict while still connecting deeply with the people in front of them. They aren't detached, they're intentional. They don't shut people out, they anchor themselves before responding. They follow the rule that you must now adopt. I feel fully. I choose carefully. That's emotional power. That's leadership. That's resilience. Feel deeply, respond wisely. Say it again. Why emotional detachment is not the answer. Many people, after being hurt or overwhelmed, choose emotional shutdown. They call it strength. They call it being done. They call it not caring anymore. But emotional shutdown is just self-protection in disguise. It doesn't build resilience, it builds walls. It doesn't build confidence, it builds avoidance. It doesn't build calm, it builds distance. And the problem with emotional detachment is simple. You can't selectively numb. When you numb pain, you numb joy. When you numb disappointment, you numb connection. When you numb fear, you numb intuition. You don't become more stable, you become less alive. Emotional mastery, on the other hand, keeps your heart open and your mind steady. It lets you feel but not drown. It lets you care but not collapse. It lets you connect but not lose yourself. True stability comes from emotional literacy, not emotional elimination. This is the level you're stepping into. And it starts with a single shift. Stop treating emotions like threats. Start treating them like signals. Feel deeply, respond wisely. Leaders who stay connected without losing control. Think about the leaders who inspire you. Not the loud ones. Not the ego-driven ones. The real leaders. The ones who stay calm during conflict. The ones who listen when others yell. The ones who stay steady when everyone else panics. The ones who can hold space for other people without absorbing their chaos. These people aren't emotionless. They're emotionally fluent. They understand that connection requires openness, but strength requires boundaries. When someone is upset, they don't mirror the emotional chaos. They don't take on the fear. They don't take on the anger. They don't let someone else's state dictate their own. They stand in emotional turbulence the way a mountain stands in the wind, present, grounded, unmoved. And what happens? People trust them. People follow them. People calm down around them. People open up to them. Because stability is magnetic. Stability is leadership. Stability is rare. And you are becoming that kind of leader. The kind who can say with absolute conviction, I hear you. I understand you. But I am still in control of me. Feel deeply, respond wisely. The formula, how to become emotionally untouchable. Here is the practical formula you will begin using today. Simple, powerful, non-negotiable. Step 1. Feel the emotion without judging it. Say to yourself, this is what I'm feeling. Name it, acknowledge it, but don't fight it. You cannot control an emotion you refuse to feel. Step 2. Separate the emotion from the response. Ask this, what am I feeling? Emotion, what do I want to choose? Response, these are two entirely different things. Separating them gives you control instantly. Step 3. Respond from wisdom, not wounds. Use the 3-second reset if needed. Use the pause. Use the breath. Then choose the behavior that aligns with who you want to be, not how you feel in the moment. This is emotional strength. This is emotional leadership. This is emotional mastery. And every time you practice this, you reinforce the identity you're building. A calm, grounded, intentional human being who cannot be shaken by external storms. Feel deeply, respond wisely. What you must protect moving forward. From this point on, protect your inner climate the same way you would protect your home. Not by locking every door, but by controlling what gets invited in. You don't need to take on other people's panic. You don't need to internalize their anger. You don't need to absorb their fear. You don't need to mirror their insecurity. Your emotional state is your responsibility. Your emotional stability is your power. You can stay open without becoming overwhelmed. You can stay connected without becoming drained. You can care without collapsing. This is what emotional mastery looks like in real life. Strong, present, steady, human. Feel deeply, respond wisely. You've now learned how to feel without falling. How to stay grounded while staying connected. How to resist the pull of emotional chaos without shutting yourself off from the world. But emotional strength is only one part of calmness. Because emotional storms are only half the battle. Mental noise is the other half. You've learned to master your feelings. Now it's time to master your thoughts. Chapter 7. Train laser focus in chaotic environments. Chaos is everywhere. Noise is everywhere. Distraction is everywhere. And most people let it control them. They get pulled left and right. They chase every flashing alert. They react to every interruption. They surrender their power without even realizing it. But you're not most people. You're here to become the calm in every storm. You're here to master the one skill that separates the mediocre from the exceptional. Focus. Laser focus. Unshakable focus. This chapter is about learning how to anchor your attention on what matters, no matter what is happening around you. No matter how loud, fast, or chaotic the environment becomes. And here's the phrase you must repeat to yourself until it becomes instinct. Focus is your fortress. Because focus is not just a skill, it's a defense. A defense against distraction. A defense against chaos. A defense against your own wandering mind. Why focus is rare. Most people think they are focused, but they aren't. They skim the surface of life. They multitask poorly. They let their attention be rented out to every notification, every demand, every craving. True focus doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen in noisy rooms, crowded offices, or scrolling feeds. It happens by design. It happens when you create internal and external conditions that protect your mind. Focus is a fortress, and without it, your energy leaks. Your decisions weaken. Your results suffer. Focus isn't a convenience. Focus is your weapon. Focus is your superpower. Focus is your fortress. Say it. Believe it. Own it. The chess master example. Look at world-class chess players. They sit at the board, surrounded by cameras, bright lights, ticking clocks, and hundreds of spectators. The noise is deafening. The pressure is unbearable. The stakes are extreme. Yet these players remain utterly calm. Every move is deliberate. Every calculation precise. Every possibility evaluated. Oh, not because the world went silent. Not because the environment became easier, but because their attention was anchored. They created an internal fortress. Nothing outside mattered. Nothing inside mattered except the position on the board. They ignored the chaos. They ignored the noise. They ignored the distractions. They practiced this skill for years, until focus became a habit, until focus became a fortress. And that is what you will begin building in your own life. Focus is your fortress. The science of focus under pressure. Here's why this works. Your brain has limited attention. It cannot handle infinite input at once. When you scatter your focus, you weaken your thinking. You become reactive. You become slow. You become vulnerable. But when you lock attention on the most important task, your clarity increases. Your decisions improve. Your mental energy compounds. It's not magic. It's physiology. Your brain is designed to amplify whatever you give it attention to. Chaos will always exist, but your ability to stay anchored in what matters can be trained. It can be strengthened. It can become unshakable. Focus is your fortress. Practical steps to train laser focus. Here is your roadmap to creating unbreakable attention. Step 1. Identify the core task every day. There is one thing that matters most. One task, one goal, one priority that moves you forward. Identify it first. Anchor yourself to it. Everything else is secondary. Step 2. Remove external distractions. Phones down. Notifications off. Doors closed. Noise minimized. Chaos outside does not control the state inside. Step 3. Train internal discipline. Your mind will wander. It always does. When it does, gently bring it back. Refocus repeatedly. This is how mental muscles are built. Focus is not something you find. You grow it. Step 4. Use micropauses even in high-pressure moments. Short pauses allow attention to reset. 3 seconds. Breathe. Refocus. Anchor. This prevents mental drift from turning into full collapse. Step 5. Reinforce with repetition. The more you practice, the stronger your fortress becomes. The more distractions you ignore intentionally, the easier focus becomes. The more you choose clarity over chaos, the more unshakable you get. Every time you catch your mind wandering, repeat. Focus is your fortress. Focus protects your energy. When your attention is scattered, your energy leaks. You feel exhausted even when you've done little. You feel stressed even when problems are small. You feel overwhelmed even when nothing is urgent. But when you anchor your attention, energy multiplies. You think faster. You act smarter. You handle challenges with composure. Focus is not just about work. Focus is about life. Your relationships, your health, your decisions, your resilience. The fortress is internal. It cannot be destroyed by noise, chaos, or distraction. It is yours to build. It is yours to defend. Focus is your fortress. The mindset shift. Most people let the environment dictate their mental state. You will not. Chaos is not the enemy. Noise is not the enemy. People, pressure, and distractions are not the enemy. Your own mind is the battlefield. And your fortress is built by the choices you make every day to anchor attention, to return to the core task, to resist the urge to scatter. Every time you choose clarity over distraction, you reinforce your fortress. Every time you choose focus over reaction, you strengthen your walls. You are training the most important muscle you will ever have, your mind. Focus is your fortress. Say it again. Anchor it. Own it. You've learned how to build mental resilience by anchoring attention. You've learned how to protect your mind in chaos. You've learned how to turn distraction into irrelevance. Now it's time to take focus to the next level. Because even the strongest attention can be sabotaged if you don't control your habits, impulses, and environment. You've trained your mind to defend against chaos. Next, you'll learn how to set the systems that sustain unstoppable progress. Chapter 8. Build a system that makes calm automatic. Calm is a skill. Calm is a habit. Calm is a choice. But here's the truth most people miss. Your choice alone isn't enough. Willpower fails under stress. Discipline falters under pressure. Emotions overwhelm intention. That's why systems exist. Routines, rituals, and mental checkpoints. Structures that make calm automatic. Without a system, you rely on luck, mood, and fleeting willpower. With a system, calm becomes a default state. You don't have to force it. You don't have to grit your teeth. You don't have to fight yourself every day. Systems create stability. Say it again. Systems create stability. Because the mind follows structure. The body follows ritual. The person who designs the system wins before the storm even arrives. Why systems matter more than motivation. Most people think motivation builds calm. They wake up, feel inspired, and hope their day goes well. That's not a system. That's a gamble. Motivation is fleeting. Discipline without structure is fragile. Emotion without boundaries is explosive. Systems, on the other hand, are mechanical. They remove the emotional gamble. They remove the dependency on mood. They create consistent results. Think of it this way. A soldier in special operations doesn't wait to feel calm before entering a high-stakes mission. They have routines drilled into their nervous system. They follow rituals that anchor them. They execute procedures that prevent panic from ever taking root. Systems create stability. They take the burden off willpower. They make composure predictable. They make mastery reliable. The anatomy of a calm system. A calm system has 3 core components. 1. Rituals that anchor your state. Morning rituals are the most common example. Special operations units, elite athletes, and CEOs all have them. Wake up at the same time. Move the body. Practice breathing or meditation. Journal or review priorities. These actions are simple, but they prepare the mind. They signal, the day begins here. I am in control. Calm is default. 2. Checkpoints that interrupt chaos throughout the day. Internal checkpoints keep your mind grounded. A breath before responding to messages. A pause before replying to conflict. A moment of reflection before deciding under pressure. Checkpoints are like guard posts in your fortress of focus. They prevent chaos from overrunning you. 3. Habits that reinforce identity. Systems are not just about action. They are about identity. You are what your routines say you are. If your system reinforces calm, focus, and rationality, your mind begins to act accordingly. You don't try to be calm. You are calm. Repeat it again. Systems create stability. Example, special operations morning rituals. Elite military units operate in environments where panic is lethal. Every morning they follow precise routines. Physical conditioning that primes resilience. Breathing and visualization that anchor mental clarity. Tactical review and goal setting that eliminate indecision. These routines aren't optional. They are enforced habits. They prepare the operator's mind and body to remain calm under extreme stress. The result: emotional control is no longer a choice, it's default. When the alarm sounds, the operator doesn't panic. They follow the system. The system carries them. And you can do the same in your life. You don't need combat-level discipline. You need your own system. Systems create stability. How to build your own calm system. Step 1. Anchor your mornings. Decide what you do first before emails, news, or social media. Breathe. Set intentions. Visualize your day. Step 2. Add micro checkpoints. Every time you feel a spike of emotion, a moment of doubt, or pressure rising, pause. Check your posture. Check your breath. Check your priorities. Step 3. Define supportive habits. What behaviors reinforce calm? Deep work sessions without interruption. Scheduled breaks. Consistent sleep. Limited exposure to emotional triggers. Step 4. Repeat relentlessly. Consistency builds automaticity. The system doesn't rely on your energy or willpower, it executes whether you feel motivated or tired. The power of systemization. Without a system, stress dictates your state. Your environment dictates your state. Your emotions dictate your state. With a system, you dictate your state. The world can erupt in chaos and you remain steady. You can respond strategically, not reactively. You can act with clarity, not emotion. Systems don't remove challenges. They don't eliminate pressure. They don't make life easy. But they make you reliable. They make you predictable under fire. They make calm effortless. Systems create stability. Say it again. Anchor it in your mind. Make it your mantra. You've learned how to structure your life so calm is automatic. You've learned how rituals, checkpoints, and habits protect your mind from chaos. You've learned how to make composure a default, not a choice. Next, it's time to combine everything you've learned so far, focus, pause, emotional control, systems, into unstoppable mental resilience. You've built calm into your routines. Now it's time to make it unshakable in every storm. Chapter 9. Strengthen your mind through controlled discomfort. Comfort is a lie. Comfort is a trap. Comfort makes the mind weak. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They chase ease. They chase safety. They chase the familiar. And they wonder why chaos breaks them. Why pressure feels unbearable. Why panic arrives at the first sign of difficulty. Here's the truth. Discomfort is the forge of resilience. You cannot strengthen the mind in ease. You cannot master calm by hiding from stress. You cannot dominate life by avoiding challenge. This chapter is about one of the most powerful mental tools you will ever use: controlled discomfort. The deliberate choice to place yourself in challenging, uncomfortable situations so that your mind grows stronger, calmer, and more resilient. And here's the phrase you will anchor into your consciousness: seek discomfort, build dominance. Say it again. Seek discomfort, build dominance. Because every time you step into controlled challenge, you expand your capacity to handle the chaos life throws at you. Why controlled discomfort works? Your mind is adaptive. It responds to stress by strengthening where it is stressed. If you avoid challenge, your tolerance shrinks. Stress feels unbearable. Problems feel larger than they are. Pressure feels like a hurricane. But if you voluntarily face discomfort, you build a mental immune system. You expand your threshold. You grow your ability to remain calm under pressure. You train your nervous system to interpret chaos as normal rather than catastrophic. Controlled discomfort is like resistance training for the mind. You lift mental weight. You endure tension. You practice resilience. Every time you face discomfort intentionally, you win the small battle that prepares you for the big ones. Seek discomfort. Build dominance. Examples of controlled discomfort. The methods don't matter as much as the principle. Choose challenge over ease. Cold exposure. A cold shower, an ice bath, or exposure to low temperatures trains your mind to endure stress and regulate panic. Fasting. Temporarily depriving your body of food trains patience, self-control, and delayed gratification. Silence retreats. Removing external stimulation forces introspection, patience, and emotional regulation. Endurance training. Long runs, heavy lifting, or extended physical challenges teach the mind to keep going when the body screams stop. Every one of these practices forces your mind to face discomfort, tolerate it, and ultimately transcend it. Every one of them reinforces the same internal lesson: you are stronger than your feelings. Every one of them strengthens your ability to remain calm under pressure. The neuroscience of voluntary challenge. When you face controlled discomfort, your brain adapts. Your stress response becomes regulated. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, stays active under pressure. Your fight or flight system becomes easier to control. You begin to see chaos as manageable. You begin to interpret stress as a signal, not a threat. You begin to respond strategically instead of reacting instinctively. The more you seek discomfort, the more dominance you build over your own mind. Every challenge conquered becomes a mental anchor for future resilience. Seek discomfort. Build dominance. How to apply controlled discomfort in your life. Step 1. Start small. Cold showers, fasting for short periods, or brief silence sessions are enough to begin. You are building a habit, not a heroic stunt. Step 2. Push your limits progressively. Gradually increase duration, intensity, or difficulty. A few extra minutes in the cold. A longer fasting window. A longer run or workout. Step 3. Anchor it in purpose. Every time you endure discomfort, tell yourself why. This builds my mental armor. This makes me unshakable. This prepares me for chaos. Step 4. Integrate into daily life. Make controlled discomfort a regular part of your routine. Not every day has to be extreme, but every day should include a small stretch outside comfort. Over time, you will notice something remarkable. Situations that once triggered panic or frustration no longer faze you. You've trained your mind to operate calmly under stress. You've strengthened your nervous system. You've expanded your tolerance for life. Seek discomfort. Build dominance. The mental edge of voluntary challenge. Most people wait until crisis hits before they grow. They wait for chaos, failure, or pain to teach lessons. By then it's too late. They are reacting, scrambling, and panicking. You will not wait. You will choose challenge on your terms. You will strengthen yourself before the storm arrives. This creates a competitive advantage. You are calm when others are afraid. You are steady when others are unstable. You are decisive when others panic. Controlled discomfort turns ordinary people into extraordinary performers. It converts fear into preparation. It converts weakness into dominance. It converts chaos into opportunity. Seek discomfort. Build dominance. The habit of a resilient mind. Remember, mental resilience is not built in comfort. It's built in the tension you voluntarily endure. It's built in the moments where the body wants to quit but the mind refuses. It's built in the early morning cold shower, in the long run, in the fasted hours, in the silence that tempts escape. When you make this a habit, the mind that once panicked under pressure now thrives in it. The nervous system that once collapsed now regulates automatically. The person who once reacted emotionally now responds intentionally. Controlled discomfort is not punishment. It's training. It's preparation. It's mental armor. Seek discomfort. Build dominance. You've now learned the full spectrum of mental mastery. Pause under pressure. Control your inner climate. Choose intention over impulse. Maintain emotional stability. Anchor focus. Build systems. Seek challenge. Everything you've learned so far is preparation. Everything you've trained is practice for the ultimate test. Life in motion, chaos all around, storms rising, pressure mounting. It's time to integrate every skill, every lesson, every system into unstoppable, unshakable personal power. Chapter 10. Become the person others rely on when everything falls apart. Most people are passengers in their own life. They wait for clarity. They wait for calm. They wait for someone else to take control. But not you. You've trained your mind. You've built systems. You've learned to pause, focus, and endure discomfort. Now it's time for the ultimate transformation, becoming the person others rely on when everything falls apart. This is more than skill. This is identity. This is who you become when pressure rises, chaos erupts, and everyone else panics. It's the person people turn to for clarity. It's the person people trust to lead. It's the person who is calm because calm has become automatic. Be the anchor. Be the calm. Say it now. Say it until it resonates. Because you are stepping into a new level of personal authority. The identity shift. Most people think calm under pressure is a behavior. It's not. It's identity. You don't act calm. You are calm. This shift happens in 2 stages. Stage 1. Internal mastery. All the chapters you've completed are preparation. You pause before reacting. You choose intention over impulse. You anchor focus. You embrace controlled discomfort. Your inner climate is stable. You are calm in chaos. Stage 2. External influence. Once internal mastery is solid, it radiates outward. Your calm stabilizes others. Your focus guides action. Your decisions inspire trust. You do not need to enforce authority. It naturally emerges because people sense composure. Leaders, CEOs, commanders, and top athletes all operate this way. They don't just survive storms, they become the center of them. They are the human lighthouse, steady when everything around them wavers. Be the anchor. Be the calm. Why others rely on you. When crisis strikes, people instinctively look for certainty. They look for someone unshakable. They look for someone grounded. That someone is you. You've developed a mental foundation so strong that external chaos can't shake you. You've built routines, checkpoints, and habits that make composure automatic. You've conditioned your mind through controlled discomfort to thrive under pressure. The result? People feel safer, stronger, and clearer around you. Your presence becomes stabilizing. Your calm becomes contagious. Your leadership is undeniable. This is why some people are followed naturally while others are ignored under pressure. Because calm under fire isn't learned overnight, it's trained. It's systematized. It's forged through intention and action. Be the anchor. Be the calm. The practical habits of a stabilizing force. Here's how to embody this identity every single day. 1. Pause before responding. Never let reactive energy leave your lips. A brief pause signals control. A brief pause allows clarity to dominate instinct. 2. Anchor focus. Know your priorities. Ignore distractions. Be the person who always knows what matters most, even when everyone else is panicking. 3. Model composure. Your emotional state sets the tone. Stay calm physically, vocally, and mentally. Others will mirror your steadiness. 4. Reinforce systems. Routines, rituals, and checkpoints are your armor. Your calm is not accidental, it's designed. 5. Lead by example. Others don't follow commands, they follow demonstration. Show resilience. Show patience. Show focus. Show discipline. Every step you take reinforces your new identity. Be the anchor. Be the calm. Real-world example, leadership under pressure. Think of a CEO navigating a financial crisis. The board is panicking. Employees are fearful. Markets are volatile. A reactive person loses control. Decisions are rushed. Mistakes are made. Panic spreads. The calm CEO executes differently, pauses, prioritizes, delegates with clarity, communicates with intention. The result? Stability emerges. People feel guided. Decisions improve. Momentum returns. Now apply this to your life. Your projects, relationships, and personal growth all benefit when you embody this stabilizing force. Be the anchor. Be the calm. The final mindset. You are no longer at the mercy of storms. You have learned to pause before reaction. Control your inner climate. Choose intention over impulse. Remain emotionally intelligent. Focus like a laser. Build systems for automatic calm. Seek challenge to expand your resilience. Every skill, every habit, every system has prepared you for this final truth. You are the calm in every storm. When others falter, you lead. When others panic, you stabilize. When chaos rises, you respond. This is your identity now. This is your superpower. Be the anchor. Be the calm. The final step is simple yet profound. Every day, act like the person others rely on. Every decision, every interaction, every crisis, anchor yourself. Lead with calm. Respond with strategy. And remember, mastery is not temporary. It's habitual. It's structural. It's who you are. Be the anchor. Be the calm. If you found this audiobook valuable, don't just keep it to yourself. Subscribe now to our channel for more life-transforming strategies. Turn on notifications. Because the next lesson, the next guide, and the next strategy could change the course of your life. You've mastered the storm within. Now go into the world and master the storms around you. Be the anchor. Be the calm.